Hello, World of Tank Blitzers, it's a Littlefinger. Hey, we're going to be doing a full tank review here on the Dreadnought. This is the September 2021 Battle Pass tank, and we're going to talk about the Battle Pass here in a second. A lot of similarities to the gun carrier, as you can see here. A little bit bigger in size. It's got some weaknesses and some strengths over that tank that we'll get to in 1 second. But first, for those new, I want to go in and just talk real quick about the Battle Pass. So it's 80 levels. Everybody gets the top row for free. Basically, the way you move up is by completing your daily missions. You can complete 4 levels per day. 80 levels, which means you should be able to complete this in roughly 20 days. And it also means that you don't have to complete every single mission in order to complete the event. For $5 extra, guys, which is such a great deal, you're going to get everything on the bottom 2 rows. Primarily, you know, the biggest currency in the game is gold. 1,100 gold just with these certificates here. And you also get the vaults. This vault will increase in size up to 2,000, provided you unlock everything. So you're getting 3,100 gold for $5. Over 600 gold per dollar, which, as you know, is a really good deal. On top of the fact you're going to get 2 tanks, countless numbers of premium time, 5x, free XP, credits, and camo. So one of the best deals. Obviously, it does mean you have to come in every day and complete your missions, but there's a lot of value in the Battle Pass itself. So let's take a quick second and just compare the Dreadnought to the gun carrier. All right, guys, here's blitzstars.com. We're going to compare these tanks, the Dreadnought, the gun carrier, and the Jagdpanzer IV. Feel like the Jagdpanzer is one of the best tier 6 tank destroyers, so I'm going to put that in as top of class for right now. And you're going to notice how woefully low the damage per minute is at 2160 versus 2400 with the gun carrier, 2750 of the Jagdpanzers. And on top of that, you have low pen as well at 182 compared to the gun carrier. But keep in mind, Jagdpanzer's at 175, so it's workable. It's just not great. The downside here is your aim time and dispersion numbers are horrible as well. So longer reload, more damage on your shot, but a higher probability of missing because of this dispersion. So those are the negatives, I think, when comparing it to the gun carrier. Now you've got 10 degrees of gun depression, 7 degrees of arc angle, which means how much you can move the tank or move the gun without moving the tank. Only 5 in the gun carrier. I find this doesn't come into play that often, so this is very negligible in my opinion. And when we look at the speeds, same speeds here, 26 kilometers, 12 in reverse. Power to weight ratio, everything's the same. The big difference, and this is a plus, is you've got 36 degrees of traverse speed, how much you can rotate. 29 on the gun carrier. So this protects you a little bit more about CODs and tanks trying to circle you and so forth. And keep that, 30 on the Jagdpanzer is pretty low. So it does turn very well. And you've got a little bit more armor here, 175 mil on that front flat plate. And that's the downside. And we'll get into that right now. All right, guys, here's Armor Inspector, and look at this red, 175 millimeters of armor. Now, because this is so flat, I mean, look at this. Effective armor is also 175. However, keep in mind you've got 10 degrees of gun depression. If we put it like that, we're getting this up to over 180 millimeters there. So keep that in mind. You want to try to play this on hills and maximize that gun depression as much as possible. Nice slope front here, 90 and 210. The lower plate here is your big weak spot, only 76 mil of armor. We do have some spaced armor here on the sides and only 90 millimeters. So do notice some ricocheting from the back. Let's go ahead and put this on pen. And this is what an M6, look at this, an M6 is going to see from the front. So again, you want to make sure that you are up on a hill and aiming downward as much as possible. And let's change the shooter here to the Jackson. And you can see that is right there, 175 mil, right in the pen zone of the Jackson. So again, you can see the difference here of not angled, angled. Let's go ahead and look at something a little bit. Let's take the T-25. So here we go, up tier tank destroyer. It's all green, and what you'll see me doing is just kind of wiggling side to side as much as possible, just perhaps hoping to bait a shot into a track or something like that, knowing that really there's not much you can do to stop being penned by an up tier tank. All right, guys, so while we're back in the garage, let's run through the setup on this tank. I'm running repair kit, multi-purpose, and adrenaline running, putting in T, improved fuel, and standard fuel. Just trying to speed up that tank as much as possible. 3211 and 7 here. APCR, which is nice to see as your premium, making sure we buy that with credits. And then the more important equipment. I am running gun rammer. The pen on this is right in the middle of the tank destroyers at tier 6. So I am opting to get more damage per minute. Maybe that means I might have to shoot a few more rounds of APCR just because we don't have that extra pen. But for now, to me, damage per minute is more important. Defense system, camouflage net, supercharge. Again, sometimes with a tank destroyer like this, you might be further back on the map, and you don't want to lose that pen over distance, which I think is more important than gaining a little bit of extra aim time. If you're up close, you don't need as much aim time, but if you're far away, you can aim all day long, but you don't want to lose that pen over distance. I am currently running improved assembly. You know, this is kind of one that I'm on the fence about because we have such nice armor. It might be nice to put that additional 4% on top of that 175. But for now, I'm getting the 57 extra hit points. Engine accelerator. Keep in mind, guys, that your rotational speed is already really good. And this does obviously make it great. But to me, I'd rather have some more forward and acceleration as well. Now, running a refined gun, trying to get that dispersion down. Vertical stabilizers, more for tanks that you shoot on the move. Running toolbox and consumable delivery system. All right, guys, so here is the first battle, Yukon. And you can see we are top tier, which is really nice for this tank. I do think this tank struggles being bottom tier. So, again, as we talked about, my recommendation is try to think of places on the map that you can go to where you can use that 10 degrees of gun depression and just peek over the top of those hills and then pull back while you're reloading. So to me, that is going to be just going off to the right side here. And there's a nice little lookout over the D cap area. So that's where we'll go to. You'll see we're approaching 23 kilometers per hour. The tank struggles speed-wise, right? But keep in mind again that we've got some nice rotational speed, and you can see there just how quickly it turns left and right. Yeah, some bad aiming on my part. Just not sure that the fire button's going off exactly when I think it is. And we're gonna dirt a few shots here, but these guys have been super aggressive. That one I'm not so sure was me, or that one was just bad gun dispersion. But you can see it's nice popping 300 plus per shot. We dropped the adrenaline because we just have so many targets out here. One tank down. Thought I might be able to see that guy getting over the cliff, but didn't happen that way. Pull back and let's focus on this type. He's gonna have a hard time penning me. I'm just gonna be patient here. and wait for that type to make a mistake, really. He's going to pull forward, and when he does, yeah, we take care of him. Now we've got a one-shot down here, so off we go. Finish him off, and you'll start to see we're getting quite a few bounces here. We've already ricocheted 780 in damage. Just trying to turn the tank just a little bit, and then wiggle it, and maybe bait a shot there into the tracks. Rather straightforward game here. Not a lot of strategy to it. We took a nice, strong position, and the Reds just didn't know how to handle. So a 2k damage game, not bad for this tank. $75,000 credits. That was good for level 2. And actually, we were top damage there, which is a little bit on the surprising side. Alright, guys, so here's our second battle. Again, this one is a little less on the movement. Well, I have some games where we do a little bit more moving. But again, as I mentioned, think of areas that you can go to where you have some nice hills. And you can maximize out that 10 degrees of gun depression. Go away. All right. So at this point, I wasn't too keen on this tank. Yeah, so I say new worst tank ever. And it started to grow on me a little bit. I mean, the gun carrier is just one of those tanks that I don't know. It's interesting to play, and it's not horrible. As we managed to sneak the kill on that poor SU. But I think if you learn to play this tank, it's really not that bad. It's just very situational. You really have to know where to get into positions to protect that lower plate. As you can see, we've got an up-tier Black Prince. Even with APCR, nothing I'm going to be able to do to that guy. So that right there is the downside of not running those calibrated shells. Alright, hello Mr. Dragon. Perhaps now it's time to go back and take our high ground. And we'll see how this fares. We get a track shot. We'll drop adrenaline and see if we can't get another one to go here on the Black Prince. And there you go. That's that gun dispersion. You can't always rely on that shot to go exactly where you want it. But if you're going to sit there and turn your turret, I'll certainly aim for that. And that's what I'm talking about. If you're aiming backwards, that is some nice, effective armor. And 114 with HE. I was surprised that we did that much damage, to be honest with you. Now we have the KV-1S coming at us. Again, here's that nice 10 degrees of gun depression. We can track him in place and back down the hill. And this is where that turning radius really comes into effect. Don't think that that Annihilator expected us to be able to do that so quickly. And look at that. Bounce from the KV-1S. Into the front cheek, no problem. Right at 2,000 damage again as the supremacy clock goes off. That was good for level 1, 968 on the EXP. 4 kills really helped that 25,000 credits because we had to shoot a little bit of APCR. All right, guys, here we are, top tier Himmelsdorf. Yeah, this is a nice little lineup for this tank. We can go over to A and hopefully spot up a few tanks and bounce a few shots. So, you know, really in comparison to the gun carrier, this tank does have significantly better armor, and with the turret, I mean the traverse speed being what it is, it makes it feel more maneuverable, which is really needed on the gun carrier, to be honest with you. And yes, tier 6, we're going to run into a few bots. This M4, you just watch what he does to me in this game. The guy has about 500 battles under his belt. Looking around, not looking forward. Wonderful. He's going to stop and turn. We'll get a shot on the SU as he's crossing by. And I just want to get in here to the PZ4. And yeah, look at that. Lovely M4. Appreciate that. Shaking my head there for sure. But again, you look at this. We're just, we've got so many now one-shots on this side. I'm not even worried about that. Guy that YOLO'd there. PZ4, not even looking at us. Oh, wake-up call. You can see I'm just wiggling it, hoping to get a bounce. That was a nice low roll. But this is one of those kind of lopsided victories. Their team split. Went to cap bases, which usually doesn't work. T1 heavy. No problems whatsoever. Thankfully the M4 didn't get in front of my shot. Now we have just the gun carrier, or the Churchill. And we're just going to get up here and block him. It's also hopefully blocking my teammates from doing any damage as well. We'll just hold him here in place. And finish him off. Pushing us up over 2,500 in damage. And just one of those straightforward games. You just drive forward, you shoot, and you bounce a few shots, and you do a lot of damage. Yeah. Not much help there from the team, but that's the way you can get the damage up for sure. So I think I got one more game, and we'll wrap up the review here on the Dreadnought. All right, guys, Hellas, we're gonna be top tier here. Let's just go ahead and do a little fast forward, shall we? We'll get us into position here. Our team was a little bit slow off the start here, and I still haven't seen their two heavies until we come around. Oh, there's the KV. Throw that shot in there and back up. Thankfully, the KV was a little on the slow side. Now, I'm just waiting for these guys to make mistakes up on the hill. And I was expecting that KV there to drive on up. And there he is in cap. I was expecting him to come through the side here. I didn't want to take a big shot from the side, that's for sure. But then for some reason, he gets out of cap. So I'm not sure what is necessarily going on this side here. But we've got shots up high, so... Alright, we got someone in a new tank. Not sure he knows where he's going. And, you know, the damage number is pretty good right there at 300. Sometimes, however, it can be a little bit challenging to get 4 clean shots off, which would get you 1200 damage, which would be about what you'd want to average in this tank at least. I think over 16 battles, I was averaging close to 1450, 63% win rate. It's not a tank you're going to easily carry in, but damn, it does look good. And I'm not a fan of slow tank destroyers. I would much rather have a fast one with less armor. And I was about to give up on him when he started coming back down the hill. And I figured that the last remaining tank, that VK there, must be AFK. But guess what, guys? He's not. He's just really, really lost. So, you know, for $5, for what you get out of the battle pass, this is definitely not my most favorite battle pass tanks, but hey, look, it is pretty unique. For those of you especially that don't have and can't get the gun carrier, this is a great way to get it. I don't think it's going to be a TD. Give me an SU-100Y over this any day of the week. I think it's such a much more of a fun tank. This one's more of a struggle, in my opinion. But there you have it. Over 3,000 gold, $5, 2 tanks, September Battle Pass tank. It is what it is, guys. So I hope you picked up a few pointers on the tank. And remember to get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.